It was a quiet Sunday morning in Charleston, South Carolina. The streets shimmered under the summer sun, and in the middle of that calm scene, Mr. Leonard Brooks, a 72-year-old retired professor, slowly parked his vintage Cadillac outside a small diner. He was dressed in a neat beige suit, hat tilted slightly forward, the kind of elegance that said he came from a generation that respected manners and dignity. Leonard had only stopped for coffee and a piece of pie. But what happened next would become a lesson in how judgment and ignorance can collide with power and truth. Inside the diner, Leonard quietly enjoyed his coffee. Across the room sat two local police officers, Officer Trent and Officer Mason, both young, loud, and full of arrogance. Trent nudged Mason. "Look at that old man. I bet he can't even afford that Cadillac out there." Mason chuckled. "Probably borrowed. Okay. These old guys always got stories, but no money." When Leonard stood up to leave, he politely nodded toward them. "Gentlemen," he said softly, tipping his hat. Trent smirked. "Okay. Hold on there, Grandpa. You sure that's your car?" Leonard turned, his eyes steady. "I'm quite sure, officer. Mind showing us some ID?" Mason added, stepping closer. "We've had reports of an elderly suspect driving off in a stolen vehicle." There were no such reports. It was an excuse. Leonard opened his wallet. His hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but anger. He handed over his license, but Trent snatched it roughly. "This expired last year. Driving with invalid documents, huh?" Leonard frowned. "That can't be. I renewed it myself." Mason circled the car, pretending to inspect it. "Plates look fake." "Let's take him in for questioning." A few bystanders gathered, whispering. A young woman began recording on her phone. Leonard sighed, calm but wounded. "Officers, please, no need for this." Trent ignored him and barked, "Hands on the car." The old man complied. Cold handcuffs locked around his wrists. Gasps came from onlookers. Someone said, "He's just an old man." Leonard looked up at the blue sky and whispered to himself, "Even when truth is silent, it never dies." At the station, Leonard sat quietly on a metal chair. The officers mocked him from across the desk. "So, Professor," Mason said sarcastically, "what do you teach? How to steal cars?" Leonard looked up. "Actually, I used to teach constitutional law." Trent laughed. "Perfect. Then you know your rights. Not that they'll help you here." Leonard took a deep breath and spoke softly. "Officers, I need to make one phone call." Trent waved his hand dismissively. "Sure, go ahead. Call your grandson or your bingo club." Leonard dialed a number from memory. The line clicked and a calm, authoritative voice answered, "Justice Hall. Supreme Court Chambers." The room went silent. Leonard's tone shifted from gentle to commanding. "This is Leonard Brooks. Please inform Chief Justice Parker that I've been unlawfully detained in Charleston County by two local officers." A hold. The color drained from both officers' faces. Mason whispered, "Wait, did he just say Supreme Court?" After a few moments, Leonard handed the phone to Trent. "The Chief Justice would like a word." Trent's hand shook as he held the phone. A booming voice came through. "Officer, release him immediately and apologize, or I'll see you in court before the day is over." Trent fumbled with the keys, unlocking the cuffs. "Sir, we didn't know." Leonard stood tall, rubbing his wrists. "Shh. You didn't need to know who I was to treat me with respect." Just then, a convoy of black SUVs pulled up outside. Federal marshals stepped out, followed by a man in a dark suit, Chief Justice Parker himself, who happened to be nearby for a conference. He entered the station and looked directly at Leonard. "Are you all right, my friend?" Leonard nodded slowly. "Fine, Robert. It's just another day in America." The Chief Justice turned toward the stunned officers. "This man was my mentor at Harvard Law. He helped write half the ethics code you're supposed to follow." The room was frozen. The bystanders who had followed from the diner recorded every word. Chief Justice Parker ordered ordered an internal review on the spot. The 2 officers were suspended for racial misconduct and disrespectful arrest. Outside the station, reporters swarmed. Cameras flashed. One journalist asked, "Mr. Brooks, how does it feel to have justice on your side today?" Leonard smiled faintly. "Justice isn't on my side," he said. "It's supposed to be on everyone's." He looked into the camera, his eyes calm but fierce. "The problem isn't bad laws, it's bad hearts. You can fix a law with a pen, but a heart, that takes humility." A few weeks later, the video went viral nationwide. Old man outsmarts racist cops with 1 call. Read the headlines. Leonard received letters, messages, and invitations to speak again, but he turned most of them down. He preferred quiet mornings and small acts of kindness, the real kind of justice. In his final public statement, he said, "The law is powerful, but compassion is stronger. Remember that before you judge someone by their skin, their age, or their car."